you get this thing apart?
You cannot break the radiator, Jude. Not in the winter. I thought this would be easy. Why do I ever think that?
Last week I started the pretty big job of turning my living room into a space I actually want to spend time in, and not just a room that I walk through on the way to the kitchen and the bathroom. I painted all the walls and the woodwork, and this week I'm going to try and put some personality back into the room, without spending a load of money or buying a pile of new things.
I've seen a lot of beautiful things online that would look lovely in here. My targeted advertising is unnervingly accurate, but I'm trying not to buy too much. So I'm going to be as creative as possible with a pile of things that I've pulled out of my shed and a couple of bits that I've picked up secondhand. The state of this radiator would have sent my dad into an early grave. He's lucky he's not here to see it. Before I do anything else, I'm going to paint the radiator, which was on my list of jobs to do last week, but I had to special order the paint and it's only just arrived. This would be a lot easier if I could take it off the wall and take it outside to spray, but I am not tempting fate with the plumbing gods. Not in this house, where I've only had 2 weeks of hot water since July. I still don't have any hot water. The plumbers are apparently very busy, and I'm waiting for someone to have time to come and have a look at it. My fireplace does have a back boiler, so if I light the fire early enough in the day, I get a tank full of hot water, which is a novelty. Last week I started making a display frame in the style of an old letterpress printer's tray, and I'm going to try and get it finished today. This might actually work, which I honestly didn't expect. My wood glue doesn't dry clear, so I'm using all-purpose glue instead, which I will probably live to regret. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to display in my frame, which I probably should have done before I started. I've got two choices, some vintage haberdashery supplies or some beach pottery that I collected from beaches where I used to live. If I go for the haberdashery supplies, I need to make the little sections a bit bigger, so I need to make my mind up. It's got very cold. I'm going to finish cutting and then I'm going to do the rest of the staining and the assembly in the house. Only 33 pieces left to go. I know this is an electrical screwdriver, but it was the only one I could find out of the approximately 250 screwdrivers that I'm pretty sure I own. If it's going to stay there, I need to move it down because that is way too high. Looks really good though. I decided to go with the vintage haberdashery supplies just because all of my beach pottery pieces are a bit small and they need to be in something a little bit daintier, I think. I might make another frame out of smaller, thinner pieces of strip wood for that because I am really, really happy with how this one has turned out. I'm not sure it's going to stay there. If it does, I need to put in a new nail and hang it slightly lower. And also I need to go in and glue everything down that's in there at the moment. I've held it all in with blue tack, and if it's above the radiator, I think it'll just dry out and everything will fall out. But I am really pleased with it. Most of the sewing supplies were my mum's, and I have no idea where she got them from because she was not a sewer. My dad liked to tell everyone the story of when she was trying to mend a pair of his trousers and sewed them to the tablecloth by accident. And most of them are from the 1940s, and she was not alive in the 1940s. So maybe they were her mum's, I'm not sure. But it's really nice to have them on display, and I really like 1940s and 50s packaging design, so I'm happy. I really need to get this room finished so I can tidy the house because the current level of chaos in here is pushing me dangerously close to the edge. And we're not even going to talk about the fact that there is barely any water running out of the taps at the moment because I don't want to think about it. I've been looking for a second-hand mirror to go above the fireplace for ages and haven't had any luck. Everything I've seen on Marketplace has just been too big for the space, but I stopped in at a second-hand shop today and found this one, which I really like. It's exactly the sort of thing I was looking for, and I'm not sure it really goes with the fireplace in its current state. The wood is very clashy, but the fireplace isn't going to stay like this. So many people said, Jude, why haven't you painted the fireplace? Paint the wood of the fireplace. And I did think about doing that. I was going to paint it white just to make it slightly prettier. And then I thought I might tile the hearth to make it slightly prettier and less flammable. And then I did what I always do, and I thought about it for too long and over-engineered it, and now I have a whole fireplace makeover planned for the new year involving hand-painted tiles and fireproof board. So that is going to be a project for after Christmas. I would really like to get it done in time for Christmas, but I'm trying to be more realistic about what I can actually get done in certain time frames. So the fireplace is going to change, and I'm hoping that this mirror will look really good over what I've got planned. You are quite heavy, and I am not confident in that nail. I think I'm going to have to drill into the wall and hope for the best. What could possibly go wrong with that plan? I think that might be too small. Why does nothing ever go right? It's a really nice mirror, but I just don't think it's the right size. It will look great in a bathroom. I really want a bath. Everything would be better if I could have a bath. But there isn't any water, or any hot water. Most of the time, everything is manageable. But some days, like today, I just want a bath and my mum's roast dinner. There's nothing I love more than a completely pointless waste of time, especially when my house is a complete mess and I've got loads of other things to be doing. But I've got a nice mirror, it'll look really nice in a nice bathroom, if I ever have a nice bathroom. And the round one will have to do for now. I'm going to go and check on the well before it gets dark, and then I'm going to come home and try really hard to make this room look nice. Yesterday it was a very long day, but I am determined that today is going to be better. And it's already got off to quite a good start. The water is back and the plumber's just left, and there is currently hot water coming out of my taps. I don't know how long it's going to last, but the novelty of it is quite exciting. And all I really want to do today is get this room finished so I can sit down on the sofa and not think about anything for a couple of hours. If all else fails, at least I've achieved something this week. I'm making art for the walls out of some things that I've already got, which not only doesn't cost anything, but means that I've got a personal connection to some of the things that I'm decorating with. I just wanted a nice week doing crafts and finishing my living room, but instead I'm spending quite a lot of time staring into the well and trying to work out just how many organs I'm going to need to sell to be able to afford to join the water main. I've got a lot better at climbing over barbed wire fences in the last few months. I had grand plans of everything I was going to get done today, but I did find the source of the water issues. There was a leak in the field behind my house, and between us, the farmer and I have just finished fixing it. I mean, he did most of the work, I provided the spade, but I was there for moral support, and hopefully now it's fixed. I've spent a couple of weeks thinking about curtains for this room. I fell in love with some beautiful linen ones, and after that, nothing else came close. But I can't justify spending £300 on curtains that probably won't fit the windows after the renovation, especially as I don't even close them. I had one striped curtain panel left over from my Eve storage project, so I cut it in half, and that'll do in the short term. It has been a very long week, and to help me really showcase the living room transformation, the sun has barely bothered coming up today, but I'm making the best of it. Here's a little reminder of what it looked like before. And with a couple of weeks of work, a couple of tins of paint, and quite a bit of creativity, this is what it looks like now. The wall art is a mix of fancy sheets of gift wrap, old sewing supplies, cards I put in secondhand frames or mounted on leftover wood from my raised beds, and one of my dad's many, many Bob Dylan concert tickets. I painted the radiator and spray painted the curtain pole. Then I made poster hangers out of strip wood, magnets, and a roll of good string I found in one of my dad's toolboxes, and used wood effect tape and gold rub and buff to upcycle old frames and my big round mirror. It's a room full of things I've inherited from my parents, as well as things I've found and collected, and things I've made and that other people have made me. I am really, really pleased with how it's turned out. I managed to keep this project on a fairly tight budget, even though I did end up spending £150 on fancy paint. I didn't really have to buy that much else. Strip wood for the display frame and the poster hangers, a lamp that was originally from IKEA but I got half price secondhand, a sample sized tin of red paint, and a frame from a charity shop. All in all, it came to £62.50. We're not including the £20 I spent on the mirror that will sit and wait until I have the perfect bathroom to put it in. There's still a few things that I'd like to do in here. I'd like to make some cushions for the sofas, a curtain for the pantry door, maybe a side table for another lamp, and the fireplace makeover, which is going to be my first project of next year. I think Christmas is going to look really good in here. I've got a load of festive things lined up for next week, and if I have to spend another 2 days knee-deep in mud looking for leaking pipes instead of making mince pies and paper chains, I will be furious.
I'm not sure how long it will last, but right now there's running water and hot water, the fires are light, and my house feels like a home. Something will probably go wrong before this video even gets uploaded, but until it does, I'm making the most of it. See you next weekend.